Hello and thanks for joining me for some more of The Last Caretaker. So today we're going to set up some food production. I know the last episode I said we were going to head up north. Changed my mind about that. We are going to do that later on, but not this episode. I'm going to set up some food production because food processing does take quite a lot of time, and I'd rather have that sort of doing something. That can be doing its thing while we go off and do some other stuff. Now I'm setting it up here at Sanctuary Dock 37, 27. Anyway, the starting location. I've got some parts in here. You might be asking why are we setting it up here and not setting it up at the Lazarus complex. There's a couple of reasons. One is look at these frame rates. It's ridiculous. There's already a lot of stuff going on at the Lazarus station. And, until they do some optimization, PC performance is absolute just bonkers. So I figured better to put it somewhere where, there's not much else going on. And the other reason is that, food production does chug up a lot of power and our water. I'm pretty sure our water supply over there is going to be fine. But we don't want anything sucking away resources and interrupting the Lazarus pods. So it does mean that we're going to need to bring water here, which is fine. So I think, what do we got? Six tanks should do it. So let's pop one of these down here. And we'll plug that in there. Plug that one in there. That one in there. That one in there. All right. So I'm going to hook up here. And I'm going to plug that one in there. We're going to flick this switch, which is my water pump and purifier. It's also turns this on, but I've turned that off manually. And I do have water tanks in here, which are already full. So that water will be transferring over into these. Okay, so put another one of these down here. About there should do it. And one about there. Plug this in here. Run this one across to here.
Fabrication comes next. Any fabrication module can shape parts.
Now, it won't let me put one on this wall here. So, pop one across here and it's just going to have to stretch around the corner, I guess. So, grab that. Plug it in there. And this one can go up here. here. About here should do it. And I do have, I have put more solar panels up on the roof there. I've also got this cable running through the duct here, rather than over the stairs and that up in the power room. So we will plug that one in there. There. Run that one across there. Okay. So we are going to use the soilforge prime. So this is the normal one and this is the higher tier one. So this one also produces methane, and it also does its work a lot faster. So we're going to put in a gas line. We do have some methane production on the ship, but it is pretty slow. So we may as well use this. Alright. Pop one of them there. Pop this over here. Yeah, should do it. There.
Materials prepared. Fabrication comes next. Any fabrication module can shape parts, plates, couplings, conduits.
Pop that one there.
Building blocks per module, and modules keep the pods alive. In the field, you can assemble light, but fabrication is faster and more efficient.
That up there. Whoops.
Supply. What you reclaim and what you build is all that remains.
No, I don't want the cable.
This is the loop that sustains the mission. Break it, everything stops.
About there. Alright, now it won't let me put it around here unless I go up really high. And we'll put one over here. One in there. Alright. Let's connect these up. Plug that in there. Plug that one in there. Bring this one around here. I'm going to turn that off though, for the moment.
That into the recycler, or place entire items directly into a recycler module. The machine will refine them into base materials.
Plug that one up there. Let's hop up here. Let's grab that one and plug it in there.
Any fabrication module can shape parts, plates, conduit seals, parts present in blocks per module. Modules upon the line. In the field, you can assemble by hand, but fabrication is faster and more efficient. There are no ships.
Yep, that'll do. Alright, so we want to grab this one, pop it up there, power. So I do also have a bunch more batteries upstairs. I've just got this one in here, just so that I can have at a quick glance, I can sort of see what the power level's at. Yep, this one can go. This there will be fine. Plug this one in. Okay. That all looks fine. Grab this. So this has got some parts in it as well. But this is going to stay here. I'll put this about here. Try and get that flush against the wall if I can. Okay, so now for the soil forge. I'm going to put that in here. About there. Yeah, it's a little crooked. Doesn't matter. Oh, well, it does. It doesn't, but to me it does. It's just going to drive me nuts. Yeah, it's not much better, but that'll do. Okay. So, let's see. Going to bring this water down. About here. Grab that power, plug it in there. Plug that water in there. That's what I want. Pop that in there. Okay. Alright. Now, some gas for the methane. Pop that around. There should do it. Grab that one and plug it in there. Grab this one. And that plugs in over here. Alright. So I'm going to build a couple more crates. And it's not really essential. But it's just the way I want to set this up. Come on. Alright. It's being a pain in the butt. Get in there. Alright. That in there. nice and snug. Okay. This one over here. We've got this one. That one there. We've also got this one around here. It's got some bits and pieces in it.
To the trash, then feed that into the recycler, or place entire items directly into it.
Pop that there. All right, and I'm going to put in a couple more. Putting in, just making a little enclosure here. One there. There. And there should do it. Okay. We want to put in a methane tank to collect the methane. Going to put that over here. And we should have done this before I moved that crate. That's okay. Jump up there and grab that. Alright, that's going to take a minute or two. Alright, so we are going to want to continue our power around here. And our water. That line there. Yeah, is that going to be a bit too much crisscross? I think it'll be fine. Okay. Alright, our tank has finished, so let's hook into there, pop that in. Alright. Pop in another power connector over here. Yeah. And water. Grab that and plug that in there. Same with the water. Yep, that'll do it. Okay. And finally the food processor. Which we're going to put over here. Yeah, there should do it. Let's pop in a little power connector down here. And a water one back here. Grab that and hook it in down there. This one needs to come around. Give me that cable. Yeah, that'll do. Plug that in there. Plug in our power. Plug in our water. All right. I think this is all ready to go. Plugged in there. Okay, these tanks are all full. Just pop that on that side. Okay, a gas line is fine. Okay, so let's switch this on. And this one has a lever here. Now I'm not exactly sure exactly how this lever works, but basically it affects methane. Now I've tried it on, just try and get in there so you can see the levels. So I've tried it on 0 and it just spits out the materials and no methane. I've tried it on 100 and it spits out nothing at all. So I've found, I don't know if you've found any better settings, but found about 25. And it's hard to get it to sort of stop exactly where you want it to. Start from the bottom and give it a tap. Alright, so 3 quick taps. Alright, that'll do us. Okay, so in here we're gonna chuck in 50 of each and see what it spits out. So we're starting off with the bio waste loop. Chuck that in there. See how methane is going, our water's coming in, power's coming in. And all this is just going to get spat on the floor into this little containment area that I've constructed with boxes. Okay, so from 50 of those, we get that, and we got 62 from the 50. So they can go in here, and about 230 litres of methane. So it can vary a little bit. So next we'll try the bio-organic, and that's going to give us omega-3. Let's chuck that in there. Now you don't need to put all this stuff in boxes. If you've got your food processor set up here, it will just pick stuff up off the ground. However, if you don't pick it up, you're going to miss out on the experience. So let's see. 59 that time, didn't quite get to 50, or to 60 rather. So we do get varying results. What have we got over here? 460 litres now of methane. But we did get more than the 50 that we put in. So next in line is going to be the seaweed, and this is going to give us 2 resources, I think. Let's have a look. Yep, protein and carbohydrates. So let's chuck that in there. See our water pumping up. But I think if those tanks are full when we leave and we have that running, I think it should be enough to keep it going for a while. So let's have a look here. Alright, so we've got 62 of the protein and 61 of the carbohydrates. And we got about the same amount of methane. And major frame drop there. Okay. This is ridiculous. And this is on low settings, by the way. Should be. Well, it's on performance settings, but anyway. None of it makes any difference. Let me see. Okay, so next in line would be the BioLite. So this is the one that you get from the pink slimes. Oops. And so you can imagine if you had this full up, and it's all just spitting it out on the floor over at the Lazarus complex. I mean, you can imagine what sort of FPS nightmare it's going to have over there with that running. So that gave us 60 vitamin D. So we're getting roughly around the 60 mark on each one, up to 920 litres there. Alright, next is the Bio-Dark. So this is from the other slimes, the ones that like to hide in the shadows. This is going to give us calcium. Okay. Grab that up. And yep, that gave us 61. And gave us about the same amount of methane. Okay, and finally the bio flesh. So this is the ones that you get off the sharks and the angels and that sort of thing. It's going to spit out 3 types of resources. And there go my frames again. So let's suck that up. Alright, so we didn't quite hit the 60s on those. Just over the 50s. With the 50 that I put in. But we have the bioregulator. We have nanite nutrients. And we have mitochondrial amplifiers. Alright. So, let's see. I'm going to go hook this in. Down here. We already have some methane in here. We're going to put that incoming only. I'm going to drain that tank. Switch that on. And then we'll put a full load in there and we'll see how much methane we get from like completely filling that up. So I'll be back in a moment when this is finished draining. Okay, so I've fully drained that. Just going to come around here and turn that switch off again. Alright, so we are going to grab everything out of there. Whoops. And we're just going to shove it all in here. And we're going to let that run. And we'll see how much methane all of that produces. But I'll pause the recording and I'll come back to you when it's finished processing. Alright, so that's done its thing. Let's see here. That is quite a lot of stuff. And see my frame rate's dropped right down to 20. This is why I'm not doing it at the Lazarus station. Let's have a look at the methane results. So, you know, we got over half a tank from one load there. So I'll switch that on and we can drain that out. I'll put the remaining little bit that I've got in here. Get that going. So as I said, this will suck all the stuff up straight off the ground. But if you have a look at my experience down there, suck all this up, and this is why you want to pick it up. Okay, but just going to shove it all in here. Not going to sort it or anything. You don't need to do any of that. This one. So now one note, if you have this open, so see how the lid opens up? while this is running, the stuff coming out will actually hit the lid and go backwards. Alright, so that's quite a bit of food stuffs there. What have I got in here? There's a bit in there as well, so alright, let's pop all this in here. And then the rest can go in here. So got just over 2 crates full of stuff. Alright, in here, so these are some foods that I've already picked up on my travels. Let's have a look here. Okay, that has drained, so I will. I suppose that doesn't matter, that can stay on, that's fine. Alright, so now we're going to switch this on and click in here. Alright, so this is the reason I want to set this up now. So you can see each of these things over here. That one of them is going to take 40 seconds to make. That one's only going to take 4, so that's a quick one. I think that's the quickest one there is. This one 24 seconds. This one 16. This one 40 seconds. This one 40 seconds. This one 16. But this one is going to take 4 minutes just to make one. Same with this one. Same with this one. This one 48 seconds. This one 1:36. And this one is just under 5 minutes just to make one of them. So, you know, we are going to get this going. We'll build 5 of each. And so these, right, to make 5 of those, it's going to take 4 minutes each. That's going to be 20 minutes that it's just going to be working on that one stack. And so to do all of this is probably going to take, I mean, I haven't added it up. I haven't done the math. I don't do math, not on this channel. But that's going to take over an hour to complete all of that. So I figured if we have this running, it can do its thing and we can go off, explore, do whatever and come back and we'll see if that's going to be enough water. Now you can see there's no water flowing at the moment because it's already sucked in 250 litres, and you'll see when you can see the green line there when it finishes and it spits that out. Now you can see the water's running again. And when it's finished sucking in its 250 litres, it'll stop again. There we go. It's still processing, but it's sucked in its 250 litres. So, anyway, that is my food factory setup. So we can unhook this one. We'll unhook this one and we'll see how that goes with the 6 tanks there. Once again, I have not done any math on how much all of that's going to take. Unplug this power here. And we can cruise off. So, in the next episode, we are going to head up here. And we're going to sort out a fuel situation. Because because now that we're doing our food, we're not going to want to shove all of our food scraps into the diesel and the petrol generators here. We're going to want to be using that for the foods. But that is going to do it for this episode. If you did enjoy this video, please leave me a like or a comment down below. If you'd like to see more, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.